Hey guys, hello to ocaholic unboxing. This is our first ever unboxing video, and for this occasion we've chosen the Fractal design Note 304, as you can see on the box. And first we will go around the box and talk about some key features of this tiny little case. So, as you can see, there is somewhere some stuff. Yes, here it is. Here it says key features. So, one thing is the stylish aluminum front panel, and here you can also see an explosion picture from the case where you see all the different parts and stuff. And yeah, and the second thing is they mentioned the front I/O, including USB 3 and audio in and out. I mean, it's very cool that meanwhile this case has USB 3, since the predecessor from this case is quite old. It's the Fractal design array, which was one of the first mini-ITX cases to define this kind of height. But yeah, it was kind of outdated these days, so it was definitely time that Fractal design brought a successor into market. So what else do we have? Let's say we do have two 92mm fans in the front and an additional 140mm fan in the back. So, and with number 5 they say there are, yes, those dust filters in front that the inside of the case keeps clean. And number 6 is, yeah, as it is, it's the modular drive base where you can fit 6 hard drives, no matter if those are 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch drives. So, and there is, they say, space for an ADX power supply, as you can see here. And number 8 is something very nice, that's a 3-step fan controller. So, yeah. Basically, let's open the thing and check out what it looks in real life. Let's do this and this. Once this is done, so flip it over, and there we go. So what do we have here? So we have very thick foam, so this case is quite well protected. And here we go with the manual and some attention thingy. Yeah, okay, nice to know. And there's the case itself, so actually it's quite lightweight, something like 6 kilograms maybe. And yeah, let's remove this plastic thing here. And finally, here we go. So, what do we have here if we take a closer look at the case? So, as they say, there is the brushed aluminium front plate, which looks really nice. Here in the bottom we have the Fractal design logo. It's quite nice that they do it small. It has kind of some understatement, and I prefer it this way than rather doing a really huge logo over the entire thing. That kind of wastes the optics. So, as you can see, also integrated into the front, there is the power button. There are the 2 USB 3.0 ports. There is the headphones and the microphone thingy. So, as always with those cases, or as we've seen in the explosion picture, we can remove the front panel. It's quite easy, in fact. So here you can see the front cables which are attached. You can even remove most of those cables, since, yeah, maybe you break them, but then you have to do some seriously weird things with this case. And here you can see the 2 92mm fans, which are going to cool the drives, which are right behind those fans. And there is also the dust filter. This dust filter should somehow be removable, but I haven't yet figured out how to remove this thing. But anyway, let's put the front back on and move to the inside of the case. And now we do this. So we flip it around, And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 thumb screws and something very kind of special, because there is the power plug, so it seems like the power cable is going to be in the case itself and it's going to be rerouted to the outside, so power supply will go somewhere in the case, okay? And yeah, here you can see the 140mm fan, very nice addition, because it's also possible to fit those big all-in-one air coolers, which are really powerful, so it's easy to put a 3770K CPU in here and even overclock it to its absolute limits. And yeah, as you can also see, there are 2 slot bezels, which means that you can also install big graphics cards and build a really decent gaming rig with one of these cases. If we go to this side of the case, you can see that there is a intake vent, so because right here there goes the VGA, and I mean, it's really nice that they integrated it decently into the side panel, and it's not a kind of tiny inlet hole where possibly the fan could be. So like this, you can really choose between a big or a small graphics card. There is always enough space that it can suck in air to cool it down when you're gaming heavily with the rig. And on the other side, you see another air intake mesh. And right behind this area, this is where the power supply is going to be. So you can draw some additional air through these inlets here. And if you take a closer look at the bottom, you can see that there is another dust filter, which is, as the arrow shows, removable via this direction. It's kind of easy, and yeah, but somehow it also feels a bit flimsy. But yeah, at least it's easy to wash and also easy to put back in place. What you can see too are the 1, 2, 3, 4 nice rubber feet, and they give the case a very safe stand. So if you pull it up front, then it really fits nicely. So let's remove those thumb screws and finally get rid of that hood to check out the interior of the case. Yeah, and it looks like the thing is tightened quite well, so I need a screwdriver. And this is a piece of cake. Remove the last one. So finally we've done that. So remove the hood, and yeah. So here we go. That's the hood, and I mean that's kind of an old design. I've seen these already 10 years ago. I mean, most of the manufacturers, they have been moving away from this kind of design. They're using individual panels these days, but yeah, Fractal Design has chosen to go with one of these. It's still quite sturdy, it's well built, but to be honest, I prefer individual side panels, but maybe that's just me. So, let's step ahead. If we check out the inside of the case, you can see that those are the 3 modular hard drive cages, which you can remove by releasing the thumb screws here. They fit really tight, so it takes quite some effort to release those screws, and it's also handy if you have a screwdriver at hand. Otherwise, you kind of kill your fingers. So yeah, finally, here we go. And there is an additional screw up here, as you can see, and you definitely have to remove this one with a screwdriver, otherwise this is just not possible. So now you can release them, and that's also kind of a nice thingy, that you know that they're in the right place. You see these holes here, and that's where those rubber grommets go. So if you put it back in place, you just slide them in there and they're in the right position. So yeah, let's remove one of those. As I said, there are those rubber grommets, and there are also 4 additional holes to put 2.5-inch drives in. Otherwise, if you use these, you will put in the 3.5-inch drives. So yeah, that's quite a cool thing. And now let's remove the other ones to show you some more of this case. And yeah, something I can mention in between is you can see there is a lot of space for a VGA. The VGA goes in here, and I mean there is a 310 millimeters in length. And so basically you can put in almost every graphics card, but later on we're going to show you why it can be a bit tricky to put even today's biggest VGAs in such a tiny little case. So here we go, the last screw, and then we remove all of them. And what we end up with is a clean side to the inside of the case. So, what do we have here? I mean, basically you can put in a mini-ITX motherboard. There is no more space for an mini-ITX motherboard, it's just not possible. And here, there goes the power supply, and yeah, as I said, here goes the mini-ITX motherboard. There is another view on the 140mm intake fan, and if we flip it around, you can see the 92mm intake fans. Oh, sorry, no, that's an outlet, of course. Yeah, and one thing that's really nice in this case is the idea how they mount the power supply. I mean, you don't put the power supply in sideways or even like this in a height lengthways way, and you just put it on the floor, kind of parallel to the motherboard, and this really I think it's the best way to save a lot of space, especially with the way they have chosen to arrange the hard drives. So furthermore, there is quite a lot of space for a power supply. I mean, you can put in a full-size ADX power supply, 160mm, that's no problem. If you go for a graphics card which isn't too long, because when you use a graphics card like a 6990, which really is 300mm long, or in other words 12-inch, then you end up with some serious issues because of the cables, because they're just going to block everything here, and it will move the VGA like this and bend the PCI Express slot, which is going to end up somewhere like here, and that won't be very healthy for your motherboard. So, but yeah, in the end you can see there is also a mesh design down here which lets the power supply breathe very well, so you won't end up with it that's our power supply after half a year or whatever. And yeah, just to show you how much space actually is in this case, I'm gonna grab a 580 over here. Yeah, we have quite some stuff over here, but yeah, let's go for the 580 now. If you put it here, you can see there's really some space to put in a decent graphics card. I mean, and also it's really a nice solution that those intake fans they blow the air right to this blower here, which is going to also suck in some air through the side panel and blow it out here. And yeah, basically there is really a lot of space. And somewhere I think we also have a power supply. Yeah, sure. Like this. And if you put this one in place, you kind of get the perspective what we've been talking about, and yeah, just to mention, this is a 150mm power supply, so it's still quite small, it's not such a huge thingy. And if you put it, yeah, it goes like this. If you put it here, and if you also remove those screws and stuff, so really see, it fits nicely. And yeah, when we go grab the VGA again, you can see that it shouldn't be a big issue to place it, yeah, voila, right next to the power supply. So that's quite easy. So 150-160mm power supply is no problem to mount in this small, tiny little case. And then you go with a high-end VGA, and what you end up with is a great gaming rig. So finally, let's remove this thing again and give Fractal design maybe some thoughts. I don't know, I might have gone with an additional, or might have gone for an additional 140mm intake fan. And I would have made this case about between 25 and 40mm longer, just to have another big fan in front to make that sure that it's really silent. Oh yeah, about silence. There is also that cool fan controller we've been talking about on the box. You see that it has 3 steps. It has a high, a medium and a low setting, and I guess it will regulate the fans between 5, 7 and 12 volts. And also here you can see the cables. There is the power cable, and here you can attach your fans. So I guess that's it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our very first unboxing video, and hope to see you soon, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.